What's up, man?
Yep.
How you doing?
Yep. Zach.
How's it going?
Welcome, man.
Happy to be here.
Welcome to the Fatherhood Forum. Been a couple weeks.
Yes. Couple weeks since the last episode. We've gotten some really good feedback. We've changed up some scenery, fixed some audio issues, but long story short, we're just happy to be here talking to you about, the core subject, fatherhood.
Yeah.
Fatherhood.
Yeah. We just want to thank you guys for all the support, all the feedback, like Jason said. We've taken it all to heart, and we're just excited to see where the podcast is going.
For sure.
And we got our first guest.
Yes.
First guest.
We got Zach here with us.
Zach and I were co-workers back at Valley.
Yep.
We met at Valley probably 2-3 years ago. Shared the podcast. He reached out. He said, man, I want to talk about my fatherhood experience, my fatherhood journey. And now we're here.
For sure.
Yeah.
And this has been a core goal since the beginning of the podcast, right? Really hearing different stories about fatherhood, what it really means to be a father. And Zach here has his own unique story of fatherhood and bringing children into this world. So Zach, we definitely want to kind of kick this off, right? Who's Zach, right? Outside of the podcast table, in the podcast table, just curious about who you are. Let's get the audience familiar.
Yeah. So I'll keep it relevant to fatherhood. I've been a dad for a little bit over 3 years now. I got a beautiful 3-year-old daughter, Maggie, and then we got a baby boy as well. Shortly after your daughter was born, we got baby Reese.
Reese and Maggie.
Reese and Maggie. Yeah. But it's been great. It's been awesome. Really, really love being a dad. I love the challenge of it. I love it.
Yeah, for sure.
Awesome,
For sure.
awesome. How did you know you were ready to be a parent? Let's go back to Maggie. Right? Zach and Maria. Did you guys have a conversation? Or we're ready right now.
Maria was definitely ready before I was.
Yeah.
I don't think I was ready until she was born, honestly.
Yeah.
Because there's no frame of reference at all for what it's going to be like. I feel like you think you can be ready, and you can have all this expectation, like, okay, I'm going to do X, Y, Z, and then that's out the window day one, and you can have some idea of, okay, what am I supposed to do, what to expect, but I don't think I was ready to be a dad until she was born.
Yeah. How did those conversations go? Going into starting that process of like, okay, I think we're ready for parenthood.
A lot of it was about like, okay, where are we at in life, right? What are we doing? I was doing grad school. I was like, look, I want to be working through grad school before we start thinking about having kids, because I don't want to be doing both of those at the same time necessarily. But once we were like, okay, what are we waiting for? Then it was just go from there. Kind of thing. So it wasn't anything super complex or anything like that. It was just, let's do it.
Yeah. I think that what are you waiting for question it's a very relevant one in today's day and age, right? I think there's been so much that's happened over the past, call it 5 years, right? Where I think a lot of parents are entering, or a lot of relationships are entering that stage, especially in our generation, where, hey, is it time for kids, and having those discussions. But like what you said, really hit home about, I wasn't ready to be a dad until I actually was a dad, right?
Yeah.
So trying to figure out how to, rise up to that occasion and get there is definitely a challenge. So it makes me ask, you know what I mean? How did your upbringing, prepare you for fatherhood, right? Kind of take a step back on maybe your own fatherhood experience. And, you said you weren't ready until it actually happened, but how did it really affect you whenever you were actually a parent?
So I'm one of 4 kids.
Yes.
So I've got 2 younger siblings that are 5 and 6 years younger than me. So kind of have that, not parent role, but older sibling role, helping to take care of them in more of a like a life advice kind of way, where it's those are my baby siblings, but they're 25, 26. They're out in the world, and so they'll text me, call me for life advice stuff, and that just feels natural to give. And now having my own kid, they're quite a number of years behind that, but that just kind of is something that comes pretty naturally to me, is that, hey, okay, how can I help you with this problem? How are we going to tackle it together? And what's going to be the most beneficial outcome for you?
Do you feel like as a younger, younger adult, teenage years, you had to take that leadership role within your family, and that's sort of just really playing itself out in fatherhood for you right now?
A little bit, not a whole lot. But I feel like I've always kind of felt that like big brother type of role,
for sure,
kind of thing. Did it. I was a RA in college, did it there, even with some of my coworkers, feeling it with them and that kind of thing. Just that, hey, I want to be here to help you and be a sounding board for you, that kind of thing. That's always just something that's, I guess, in there.
Yeah. Did you have that same relationship with your older sibling? Like, were they the ones that you looked up to and you went to for advice?
Not really, no. Yeah, that was a different dynamic. Definitely for my younger siblings, that's something that I feel like I guess had practice with before becoming a dad, without knowing that that's something that's helpful. When you are a dad.
For sure. Thinking about, I was asked, me and Jason were talking before we got here, and I was asking him like, something that had been on my mind now that Valencia and I are 29 weeks pregnant, and both of our families live here. I'm really close with my siblings, and she's really close with her families. And it's like, we have these expectations of how we want people to show up for us. For you, how did those expectations and reality, how did that meet?
Wow. Yeah. So it was with Maggie, it was a little tricky because Maria and my families did not live in the state. Lived down in California. We met there. We moved up here.
Both of your families are in California?
Both of our families, they were. They've kind of moved up here now, bits and pieces, but we were basically on our own kind of deal. So
it's hard.
It was, when people come to visit, that was great. It's like, oh, awesome, we need help with this, we need help with that kind of thing. But this time around with my son, my in-laws have moved up here. My brother lives up north near Bellevue. It's totally different where now we can, hey, in-laws come over, they take Maggie for the day. We can clean the house.
Cleaning the house is 80% of any free time.
Or they come over and they just drop off dinner or something like that, right? So my wife always is saying, like, I get why people live near family when they have kids, because it is such a hard thing to do. And it's given us, I remember saying it when Maggie was still really little, just over and over again, we're like, how do single parents do this? Because it's like such a tag team job, even with one kid. And then you got two of them. It's like, all right, you got this one, I got that one, kind of thing. How do you do that by yourself?
For sure.
There's never empty, just free time.
No. Unless everybody's asleep, which is very rare.
That's what I'm sort of inching into, right? I've only, just started this fatherhood journey, and just 2 months in, 2.5 months in, I'm starting to realize, like, those moments where you do have, both of your hands free, you really do have to be working on something, doing something. And I just started back work after leaving, for paternity leave and getting back into work, and just starting to see how the day-to-day really does have an effect on your ability to be present, to be there. And you're so spoiled in those first 3 months, getting a chance to be there with your child every day. And then, the work can come around, and you really do have to make these finer adjustments to be able to spend that time there. So, I'm curious on how you really balance, parenthood and fatherhood, especially with multiple children. Right? How did it start with one child, and then as the second came, how have you been able to balance work, family, those type of things?
Balance is that's the goal, that's the trick, that's the hard thing to deal with. Because you're not going to be able to do everything. It's, not realistic to put that kind of pressure on yourself, even though we do it.
Yeah.
Like, okay, I got to do this. I got to do this. I got to do this. Even though I've got a child now that I'm taking care of, and a second child to take care of, and my relationship that I want to make sure is still
for sure.
nice and strong and stable and all that. So, it's about picking and choosing what's the priority on the day.
Yeah.
Of like, okay, I'm exhausted. You're exhausted. Kids are down for sleep. What needs to get done today, and what would we like to get done today? Right? And
write it down.
And sometimes you don't get any of it done.
Yeah. And you got to be okay with that too.
You do, which is frustrating because it's hard. It's like, okay, well, I feel like I'm failing as a parent because with social media, everything's so pristine, everything's so clean. You see all the great side of it, but realistically, like, your house is going to be a mess.
Yeah.
When did you get to the point where you were like, it's fine, it's okay, like, dang, I'm not gonna do everything I want to do? When did that become just, I just gotta accept this?
My wife and I are very different on our cleaning. where I need, again, something popped up on social media is like, one person needs to relax before they clean, one person has to clean to relax. I'm the relax first and then clean. So I could let stuff, I'll do it tomorrow. Whereas my wife was like, no, we need to get this done for me to feel good, for me to feel less overwhelmed and less stressed kind of thing. So,
and with children, it really does add an extra element of, okay, you're relaxing in a whole different type of mess than, the pre-children phase, I could say.
Yeah, because right now it's a lot of like, hey, can I have 20 minutes kind of thing? Like, you got them? Cool. I'm going to take 20 minutes for myself. I'm going to nap. I'm going to just zone out. I'm going to do something. Or, hey, you're here. Can you feed him? Watch her. I'm going to cook dinner.
Yeah.
Kind of and it's a lot of trading off and saying, hey, can you do X, Y, Z while I do this? Whereas before it could have been, hey, we're both going to do this, or it's my night to cook, or whatever it is.
Is there any guilt around that? Like, when you're like, hey, Maria, I need 20 minutes. Like, do you, like, because I feel like I would feel guilty, right? If Valencia is the one doing the feeding at night, especially in the beginning, right? Doing the feeding at night, waking up, like, there's not much you can physically do for Reese right now, while Maggie's sleeping, but you're like, I just need 20 minutes.
Yeah, and so that's something that has definitely been hard for me to do. I'm more of a people pleaser, and so I very rarely ask for things for me.
Yeah.
And so, we're both exhausted, right, for having a new baby. But I definitely am at a point where I'm getting better at it, but she's been pregnant for 10 months.
Yeah.
She's breastfeeding. That's not just a walk in the park. Yeah. That's exhausting. That's tiring.
Process.
It is.
Yeah.
So I always feel bad saying, hey, I'm tired. Can I have 20 minutes kind of thing? There is definitely guilt, I think, is the right word for it.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I'll even piggyback off on that and say guilt comes with parenthood a lot, right? Because there's always something that you can be doing, like what Zach just said. And it's something where I was talking earlier about, I even ask myself, am I a good dad sometimes? You know what I mean? And even in this podcast, right, it's like, we try to amplify some of these stories to, one, create a platform where fathers can feel heard and their stories can get amplified. But the other bit is, too, we're new to this. We're all new to this, right? We all have less than 3 years experience with a little one, and finding a way to hear some of these experiences really do amplify how we can show up for our kids every single day. And, we got to give ourselves some grace, but also at the same time, what are the things that we can do better as fathers, and being vocal about that is half of the conversation also, right? So, yeah.
With Maria, how long have you guys been together before you had Maggie?
So we started dating in high school. So
you guys are from the same town in Cali.
Okay. Don't we all have high school sweethearts?
Same high.
A high school sweetheart.
So it'll be 16 years in January. We just passed our 6-year wedding anniversary.
Wow.
So we've been together a long time.
Congrats.
And one thing that I was, thinking about when you said, "Hey, yeah, we're going to have you on the podcast," something I was thinking about was our relationship and how much it's changed just in the 3 years since we've had Maggie.
Yeah.
That amount of change that we've seen just as a partnership is, I feel like, probably equal to, if not greater than, the amount of change we've gone through since we started dating in high school. Right?
Yeah.
It's a huge overhaul.
I mean, that's like so hard to comprehend when you're not a parent yet. Like you can't, you think of like, your life's gonna change, but to put it in like 16 years versus 2-3 years.
Yeah, it's equivalent. It's a huge change.
Yeah.
Because you go from, okay, we're in high school where it's my girlfriend, that's my boyfriend, we'll go over to your house for a meal or something, and then you're dating long term, and then you're living together. It's like, okay, for holidays, we'll go to your parents for this one, we'll go to your parents for this one, and then you're married, and now it's like, okay, we are now the immediate family, and that's extended family. And then you have kids, and that just gets amplified so much where it's, okay, yes, we're a partnership, but that is now our focus.
Yeah.
Right? We are almost the extended family of what the family is, right? Because they are helpless.
Yeah.
They don't know anything. They're learning things for the first time.
Yeah.
Babies are pretty useless in how they take care of themselves.
No, that's
right. Their heads flopping all over the place. You got to make sure they're taken care of all the time. So all of the energy and time and thought and everything goes towards them. Yeah. Right. And so we actually had a great chance the other day. We just went on a walk with the dog and with Reese, and like, we're not really big like date night people, where we just never have been. But that was a great walk. It was like a mile maybe. We just went to the Starbucks and back, and that was a great time for us to just be like, okay, what are we doing for us in our life? What do these next 30 days look like? Because I'm going back to work, and what do we want to focus on? And then having those little chunks of time are really great for kind of refreshing, getting a reset, and making sure that we're on the same page with what we want and what we're working towards. Just because we don't always have the time to do that. When it's like, all right, that one's screaming over there, this one's screaming over here. Can you bring me X, Y, and Z kind of stuff? So, it's definitely big change. But you can't really, I don't think, understand it until you've experienced it. Of having a kid, right? You can say, oh yeah, it changes you, but until that kid is boots on the ground, it's hard to really, for yourself, as you said, like, conceptualize what that's like.
If you don't mind me asking, like, thinking about your relationship with Maria and that relationship in parenthood now, what was the lowest point, when did you realize, like, hey, our relationship has changed, it's not where we want it to be? What did that look like? And then how did you guys talk and communicate to get it to a place where you were like, okay, we can be parents, but we're also married, right? We're also partners first.
So I mean, there's definitely been a couple of just times where, like, the emotions are just hitting hard.
Oh, for sure.
Particularly, for Maria with breastfeeding and being pregnant, like, that's definitely hitting her a lot harder than me. And a big part of it is just the communication of, I mean, it wasn't a huge moment, but like the other week, Maria said something, I took it one way, and then so I responded based on how I took it, and she didn't like that, and she responded based on how she took what I said, and it's all these layers. But once we got through that, whenever we were going somewhere, I think, and then we circled back and we're like, hey, I'm sorry for how that went. This is how I took what you said. I didn't mean for it to come across as snippy or snarky or anything. And so that's, I think, a really big stepping stone in terms of making sure you guys can ground yourselves once the kids are there. Because you never want to, like, be angry at each other in front of the kids.
For sure.
Right now, okay, the baby's 8 weeks, 9 weeks old. they're not really grasping much. My daughter's 3; she's picking up everything.
And they're using it for and against you.
Repeating everything, even stuff that you don't think
Yeah.
as like, hey, well, where'd you hear that from? Kind of thing. And so
It was me.
It's
exactly
from me.
exactly.
So they are a sponge in this
Absolutely.
in this cycle.
Absolutely. You know, the other night she's having a little bit of a hard time with sleep, and she's getting into more tantrums. She's 3 and she's kicking and screaming. And so I used my dad voice. I was like, hey, we do not kick. We do not scream.
Yeah.
Very next morning, she's got her little doll and she's yelling at it, hey, we do not scream. And I was like,
whoa,
okay, well, I need to adjust how I relate and communicate to you, because that's what she got out of that, was me raising my voice at her.
I was gonna say, to you were parenting, but to her, she was getting yelled at.
Oh,
exactly.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
And so that's where, again, that guilt comes in of like, wow, I am doing this wrong.
Wow.
But I've got no frame of reference for how to do this.
Oh, yeah.
And so it's that ongoing process of just talking it out and saying, okay, how do I do this better? And how do I help you understand what I want you to understand?
Yeah.
With you having 0 life experience
And it's
not knowing.
It's that metacognition about thinking about fatherhood, right? Where you have to think deep on, what is a dad? What is a father, right? And how do you display those attitudes in front of your kids? And I just to get vulnerable a little bit, I think like we don't think about how our own fatherhood experiences and upbringings have really influenced our lives and how we're going to raise kids moving forward. And just even having a conversation about that with your partner or with other dads, or even as your kids get older, right? Like, hey, this is how I was raised as a child, right? Like, these are the things that worked really well. These are the things that didn't work really well. And this is how, I want to show up as a father. And you even just talking about how I see how I'm treating Reese and how that's playing into, how she's acting. It really does play a huge role in how you're even going to move forward as a father going on. So what are some things that you'd say, like, you've been really intentional about as a dad to just either rewire some of the things that early fatherhood has taught you, or continue to bridge into your modern fatherhood today?
Yeah. So this is actually something I've thought a lot about coming into this podcast. There's kind of 3 answers, I think, or 3 parts to my answer on that.
Take notes.
First one, biggest suggestion I have for anybody who's going to be a parent, going to be a dad, work on yourself. If that means go to therapy, do the work on yourself, because there's so much that I've learned from going to therapy that has changed how I do parent Maggie, and I am planning to parent Reese once he's again old enough to like understand and sponge everything. So I think that's a huge part of how I've been a father, is doing that introspection and understanding how I'm experiencing the world and how I'm interacting with my emotions and my feelings and all that kind of stuff. So therapy's good.
Therapy is great.
Yeah, I don't want to jump from the therapy topic, because I think, this is definitely like a topic, and sorry for mismatching the genders and names earlier. Definitely want to call that out. But, like, when was the earliest point in your life when therapy was introduced, and was it after fatherhood, before fatherhood? And what would you say to people who are kind of on the edge about asking for help, just to learn about themselves? And one last part of that question, what do you feel like was the biggest impact post therapy that either makes you keep going back or just really appreciate it?
I'm trying to remember when I started going to therapy. It was before having kids, for sure. But I think was really helpful for me was Maria telling me, like, hey, I can see the work that you've done, showing up in your life.
Wow.
Right? It's having a partner who can, and part of that comes with being with somebody for 16 years. Like, we've grown up together.
Yeah,
right? We've essentially been
that's
together.
your best friend.
Yeah,
that's your best
we've
friend.
been together for just about as long as we haven't.
Yeah. Wow.
That's
Right?
Valencia and I
powerful.
too.
Right?
Yeah,
They've been in your
same
life
on mine, too.
for that many years. They know you.
Yeah.
Right. And so getting that validation from her is huge, that positive reinforcement. Another big part of my drive for encouraging people to go to therapy, which I didn't really realize until maybe a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
Not my main objective, but like a strong objective I have with Maggie and with Reese, they are a little bit different. With Maggie, it's, I think it's around like age 8, there is a dramatic drop off in girls' self-confidence. And so that's something that we are trying to really build up with her so much is you are strong, you can do hard things. I'm so proud of you. Being proud of herself, right? And making sure that we can either halt that drop off in self-confidence or delay it or blunt it or whatever we can, right?
Yeah.
And then with Reese, there's such a stigma for men and mental health and therapy. And one thing that I really, really want to make sure that he sees all throughout his life is positive, loving male relationships. Where
It's so toxic, man.
it is.
It can be toxic
It's
for
so-
sure.
Yeah. And I think that's a big, big part of why we're in the place that we are
Yeah.
as a
Society.
right? Because we tear people down and women get the brunt of that, and men are told that you aren't allowed to have these feelings. You aren't allowed to be soft and vulnerable and perceived as weak, right?
And those are it's a huge side of a personality that really does get you through some of the tougher parts in life. And I think there's a lot of, I don't want to call it propaganda, or there's a lot of advertising of this is how you should act as a man, this is how tough you should be, you have to be resilient, you have to be ready to do this and this, and those are all things that we've all carried into fatherhood as men, right? So how does that play out as a parent is another part, and we're just building another generation of men who could potentially, and women too, right? Because we're going to put those same feelings on our daughters too, where they may not have those emotional tools to say, it's okay. Like, I can be soft on myself today. You know what I mean? I can take a break. I can relax. I can reflect. And that's just such an important point that I don't feel like is talked about enough.
Yeah. And, that says so much about you, because it takes so much self-awareness to be like, I can be better. And I want to be better for my kids. I want to be better for my wife, for my family, right? And I recently started therapy just in July. And it came from a place where, like, I'm someone who's like, oh, I just always want to get better. No matter what, I just want to get better.
Yeah.
And I was like, Valencia, I think I'm going to do this. I want to learn of myself. Because I don't think I know myself.
Yeah.
Like, I think, I'm also a people pleaser.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's not what I want to show my kids. So let me work on myself. And like you said, being with a partner being with somebody for so long, they know you so well. Valencia's also done the same thing, where it's like, I can see the growth that you've gotten in therapy, and just being able to have a mindset of, I can be better, I can change, and I can actually learn to understand my feelings and talk to somebody so I can learn. Like, it's all about insight. I didn't go into therapy with all this with trauma or anything like that. I went into for insight. Who the heck is Camuel? And I've been finding that, and it's so freeing as a male, and I've gained so much confidence in just knowing who I am.
But we don't always have just the space for that to be able to just, you guys have an amazing relationship, but you're not always sitting across the table from each other.
We are not,
right? One of my best friends, Maggie's godfather, he is on the other side of the country, and we started doing something where every Wednesday we'll send each other a voice note, just like a catch up on our day. It was, again, something I saw on social media. It's called the Wednesday Waffle, where we just talk about our lives. We're just waffling along. And he was telling some folks over there about, because he was listening to it, and they're like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "Oh, I do this with my my buddy back in Washington." And they're like, "That's so bizarre. Nobody does that," and that like sucks. That's such a foreign thing for people.
To talk,
right?
To care about your life,
right? Because it's there's the stigma, there's everything that we grow up with of like bury it down, kind of thing, and then there's cultural stuff to that as well, right? I'm from Ireland. We're not a particularly emotionally expressive people, and so that's another layer to it of just like, hey, it's okay to feel these things and talk about them and be vulnerable and get it out.
Something I've been thinking about lately is like yourself as an individual is it's static in the moment that you're there, but it's very dynamic when you start thinking about who am I, what have I done in the past, what has made me who I am today. And sometimes I try to think like, okay, if you have the ability to reinvent yourself every day, why don't we do drastic things every single day, or make a big decision, or make a life-changing move every day, right? We tend to stay in the same boxes, the same circles, when every day is an opportunity to really try and do something new. And I think like something about, and bringing the topic back to fatherhood, something about fatherhood is it forces you to not stay in the exact same place, to not stay in the exact same place that you're doing. Even little things like starting this podcast, right? Wanting to be as professional as possible, wanting to be as open as possible. It's like you really do have to unpeel layers of yourself and think about your future state of who you are to be able to create something new. And a lot of that unlearning happens whenever you're tasked with this brand new human that you have to
keep alive.
To keep alive, right? So I wanted to kind of bring that up just to maybe even ask you, right? Like, besides therapy, besides really working with your partner to have that communication, what are some other things that you really have had to unpeel as a new father to really maximize the benefit of fatherhood?
Finish you were spitting earlier, finish it.
I think I touched on those. It was therapy, making sure Maggie's got that self-confidence, and then making sure that Reese sees those positive male friendships. Just so that he sees them as normal. Because the last thing I want is for either of my kids to fall into that societal revolving door of, hey, you're not good enough, you can't do this is the wrong way for you to exist.
Gotta break the wheel. That's so good, man. I want to go back to your relationship with Maria. Something I was talking to my brother about was how their parenting styles are different and how you have to cope with that. How about you? How did you figure out that you and Maria's parenting styles were different? Did you talk about this beforehand? Did you figure it out? How do you accept that? Because it's like, me thinking about Valencia and I and going with Nyla and our upbringings and expectations, right? It's going to be so hard, and we're trying to have those conversations, but can we have those conversations? Is it just kind of you just gotta experience it?
Girl dad gang.
Girl dad gang. Come on now.
I'm soft.
I'm
so soft.
Me too.
I'm so soft and weak, and Maria is the strong one. Where I will cave to anything Maggie wants, or I did. And I'm seeing the repercussions of that now. Where it used to be, I just say yes to everything she wanted. And now when she's getting to a point where she's, particularly at bedtime, it's like, hey, I want this. I'm like, I know you want it, but the answer is no. And then it turns into a tantrum. I want one more thing and one more thing and one more thing. Again, I'm seeing the negative side of, well, she's learned that if she just says, hey, can I have this? She gets it, kind of thing. And again, I don't want to say no to my daughter.
Yeah.
Because that's my daughter.
Yeah, that's my child.
But
I can supply.
Yeah, but it's a fine line, I think, then, of saying yes and helping them get everything that they need and want, while also helping them understand that, like, hey, sometimes that answer is no.
Yeah.
And my buddy Andre, he's actually a kindergarten teacher, so he's always a great sounding board for me of like the psychology of where the kids are at. And he's like, they're just a bunch of narcissists. This is their world. It's all them.
They cannot think about anybody else.
They can't. No, it's
Literally
all them. And so it's really hard for them to hear no, because they don't. You mean I can't have what I want? This is for me and everything. Whereas Maria's she's stronger than I am. Like when we were sleep training Maggie, the hardest 5 minutes of my life when she's crying and I'm like, okay, what's the clock at? It's 4 minutes. Can I go now? Kind of thing.
Wow.
But I mean, she's an amazing sleeper. Right? Yeah. She's great. She's been in her big kid bed for, I want to say, almost a year now.
Yeah.
In her own room, she sleeps great. Yeah. But I would say that's the biggest difference between us. Yeah. Is that I'm weak and soft. I don't know if that would be different if we had Reese first and then Maggie. Right. Yeah. If having a daughter turn me to mush,
soften your heart up
and
so
soften
much.
me up too much.
Oh, for sure.
But yeah, she's the one she's not the mean one, but she's the one who these are the rules and we're following them. And as Maggie's gotten older, I think I've definitely shifted that way a little bit more, being a little bit more like, okay, no, we have things that we can do and things that we like to do, and where are those boundaries? But yeah, I'm just soft.
Yeah, I'm such a softie. Sad movies, I'll cry.
We knew that going in. I knew that, even because we didn't find out if we were having a boy or a girl with Maggie. I just knew that I was going to be the soft parent. Yeah, I already knew that going in. We already talked about it a little bit. But it's.
So something that I've noticed, I have a bunch of nieces and nephews, and going to my brother's house and hanging out with them and seeing my sister-in-law parents and then seeing my brother parents, like, you have a relationship, right? It's your family, but then you also have a relationship. Each parent has their own relationship with that kid. Yeah. And as the kids grow older, that'll develop more. But with you and Maggie, like, has there been moments where you see Maria and she's parenting Maggie in a certain way and you're like, I wouldn't do it like that, but that's not my relationship with Maggie. Yeah. Like, tell me a little bit about that.
So actually we're pretty much on the same page about how we parent Maggie and Reese now. That's something that we did, talk about going into it, of like, hey, how are we going to handle this? What are we going to do about timeout or whatever? So there's not too much difference in how we parent. One thing that we're running into now, though, is she's playing us. She's starting to do the thing where she'll ask me something, and if I say no, she'll go ask mom something.
Oh, no.
That's funny. And we're getting into, not trouble, not butting heads, but like, well, I didn't know you already said no to her, and I just said yes. Now I'm going to give it to her, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So we're trying to figure out if there's like a code word that we can use to be like, hey, did you say yes or no to this kind of thing?
I guess like maybe a question could be like, did you ask your mom? Right? And
well,
maybe the did you ask your mom could
not always truthful with that one.
No. So it's even more complex.
Yeah, be lying.
Yeah. As you can hear, I am new to this. Yeah. The did you ask your mom is not accurate.
Not always going to get you the answer. Yeah. They're manipulative. They're narcissists. But what's interesting is Maggie has kind of oscillated between like having a favorite parent. Where there's like a period of time where I'm Joe Blow from down the street. Doesn't want anything to do with me.
Stranger.
Exactly. Where it's like, I want mom for everything. And then it's, okay, dad is all I want. Mom, go away kind of thing. And so that's hard to go through, I think, on both sides of it. Because you're the parent who's there for, that's all they want, which is really awesome and feels good, but it is exhausting.
Oh, for sure.
And when you're on the other side of it, you're like, wow, I get free time, which is that much time, but then it's like, well, they don't want me.
Yeah.
And that just sucks.
It hurts.
It does.
It hurts,
And so trying to balance that sort of oscillation of what their person is at that time is definitely something that I wasn't prepared for.
Yeah.
Like, knew to expect, really.
Yeah.
Of like, hey, she's gonna only want mom for this, and maybe it's only mom for doing this task, but it's dad for this one.
Yeah.
Or mom does it this way, dad, why can't you do it this way, kind of thing. Or mom does it better, dad does it better, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So it's more so them and what their focus is for a particular thing.
Yeah.
I think something that's interesting is like, what are the emotions that you evoke in your child, right? Whenever you're with them, whenever you're bonding, whenever you're spending time, what is the default emotion? And I think for me, where I've been is music, dance, rhythm, right? Like these are all things that like I bring to Maya whenever I'm around her, right? She's either moving, she's dancing, I'm moving her legs, I'm moving her arm, like I'm getting her to, you know, move, right? And the mom is a bit different, right? Where Danielle could be more of a cuddler, right? She's gonna have her in her arms. She's either gonna be feeding her. She's not gonna be doing all this dancing and jumping around like I am with her. So those different attachment styles really start to play out probably in the future. So I guess a question for you is like, what is the energy that you bring to your child that you're starting to see is creating that attachment style a bit?
Yeah. Well, it's kind of interesting because I'm definitely a big cuddler. I love like the like newborn baby phase is my favorite because they are so helpless that they can't help. They have to cuddle with you.
I'm gonna do it my way.
And Reese,
you can't run away yet.
Reese is such a big contact napper. Where he almost won't sleep unless he's on us.
Wow.
Which I just absolutely love. It's my favorite thing in the world.
Yeah.
Just having the baby holding them and them like not being able to take care of themselves, because that was a big like knife to the chest when Maggie started getting more mobile, and I'd pick her up and be holding her and she'd just push off. Not because she doesn't like me, but because she wants to go move. Kind of thing. It's like I miss that.
I got these legs, I want to use them.
Exactly, right? But right now with Maggie, I'm definitely the one who's, you know, running around playing with her a little bit more, and part of that's because Maria had this pregnancy with Reese was pretty tough, where she was basically knocked on her back for the whole thing, pretty much. So she's just exhausted. So I was kind of Maggie's person then for all of that.
Yeah.
And then right now when, hey, she's still breastfeeding, she's just had the baby, she's still wiped and tired from that. So I'm definitely more of the like, hey, let's laugh, goof around, throw each other around kind of thing. But one thing that we've definitely seen, and I don't know if it's from us or if it's just Maggie innately has this, is she's just so kind.
Yeah.
She's a very, very kind kid.
Wow.
Where like at daycare, there's like a baby side and then a toddler side.
Yeah.
My wife would say, I picked her up today and one of the babies was crying and she went over there and she's like, it's okay, your mom's going to be here soon. Just like out of herself, she'll do those kind of things.
Yeah.
We were at lunch today and there was a baby crying at the table next to us. She's like, I'm going to go see that baby and make sure they're okay.
Wow.
Like that, I don't know.
3 years old?
I don't know what we did or if that's just her.
That's a W for sure.
That like kindness and caring is the thing that I'm most proud of with her.
That's
is
so
just
good.
how like she wants to help people, kind of thing, and make them feel better.
Wow.
And it, I mean, you hear about stories like my oldest niece, she's 5, the one that lives here, and my brother will tell me stories about how kids are so mean.
Oh yeah.
Kids can be so mean in the playground, you know, pushing kids, and maybe that comes with at a later age, but I'm sure it's beautiful to see like, oh, but my daughter, she's kind.
Yeah.
I have threatened to fight a toddler. I've heard that Maggie got bit at daycare, and I'm like, all right, I'm putting the kid through a wall. That's fine.
No.
And I'm not a confrontational person at all, but it's just like it's out of my
It's
mouth.
that protection instinct, right?
And it's like I'm gonna fight this too.
That's your girl.
Yeah.
That's your girl.
Yeah.
But she also bit people a couple times. and so it's like,
I don't know what's happening.
That
in
was
daycare,
justified.
but-
That was justified, but no, yeah, it's definitely really cool to see her just interact with the world.
Yeah,
For sure. That was so funny. He said she has bitten a few things. So he
It
even
happens to all of them. Yeah.
how did you said that Maria's pregnancy with Reese was really tough. How were you able to be a supportive husband and help Maria, but also, Maggie is 2 at a time, right? And she also needs a lot of attention. How were you able to balance those two?
Ooh. It's definitely hard. Because there's not, right, Valencia's feeling miserable. There's not a lot you can do for her.
Yeah.
Other than like, hey, what do you need? What can I bring you?
Yeah.
Are you feeling nauseous? Do you need water? Can I give you a foot rub?
Yeah.
Let me just make sure Maggie's not too loud around you so you can get some rest.
Yeah.
It was a lot of that let me make sure that you're resting and feeling okay while I parent Maggie and I take care of her and get her energy out and make her feel like she's still, getting all the attention and care that she needs, kind of thing, right? Because
really swooping in.
and it got to, sometimes it was like, hey, I'm doing 90% of the parenting. Some days I'm doing 60% of the parenting. And it just kind of oscillates. But it's definitely hard to see your partner like that, where their body's not theirs.
Yeah.
And that doesn't change after they've given birth either, right? Depending on how long you breastfeed for, your body's not yours.
Yeah.
You're chained to that baby for some people don't breastfeed at all. Some people breastfeed for 1.5 years, 2 years, whatever it is.
It's more of an external pregnancy. Right? In that sense.
You're a vessel.
Oh, for sure. I call it host.
but it's how do you support your partner in a way that they can feel independence
Yeah.
and at the same time, right, not feel guilty for wanting to be away from the kid.
Yeah.
Because all they want is autonomy, which they haven't had for a year.
Right.
Yeah. I always think, like, how do you up the score as a father when it comes to bonding? Right? Like, how do you even the score? Right? Because the mom will always have more physical time with the child, right? And those are times when you're just like, dang, like, the baby's feeding. All right. It's time to go. Let me get out of here, or let me just hang out. But I always think, like, what are the small things that I can do to, really have that time with the baby that she or Danielle may not expect. Or I'm just coming in and just kind of swooping in the baby, and then she's looking around like, this would typically be my time, right? And kind of surprising there. But in a lot of ways, like what you're saying just makes so much sense, right?
And that's so hard. Like, I mean, even that can happen in pregnancy. Like, right, Valencia's the one carrying Nyla, and I'm someone that wants to be so involved. Like, I want to know Nyla. But I can't because Valencia has Nyla for 9-10 months, right? And Valencia tells me like she's grown to such a strong attachment to Nyla already, and she's like getting this, maternal instincts already and energy, and she's like, babe, I can feel her every day, and we basically talk to each other, and they already have this relationship where all I can do is just, it's so cliche, like Valencia's like, oh, now let's moving. Go touch your hand. I put my hand. Stops. Gone.
Gone.
Like,
nothing at all. And then you walk away and it starts again.
Literally, like, at night, Nyla moves the most at night while Valencia's laying down, and we'll be watching TV, and she's like, babe. I put my hand. Nothing. I go back to watching TV. Did you see that? No, I'm not going to stare at her for 2 hours to watch it move. And it's just like, you already start to, right, how do you level the playing field? And you can't.
You can't.
You just can't.
Honestly, going back to work has even made me a lot more just like feel behind, right? Like, okay, I'm wearing brick shoes to attract me right now because like, no way I can keep up, right? But I think, like, this entire conversation is centered around what are the things that you can do as a father that really play back into, upping that score, evening it out. And these are the things that really build those really good bonds with your children, right? And can start to create some of those memories that, you may not think are important now, but play a really big toll in their attachment to their father as time goes on.
One thing that we do that just, again, it helps Maria out as much as possible is with all the night feeds. We tag team it. Where, hey, Reese is starting to stir. Okay, I wake up, I get him changed, I'm getting him ready to go. She feeds him. While she's feeding, I go back to sleep. When she's got everything she needs. When she's done feeding him or he's ready to be burped, whatever, she wakes me up. I take him and she gets to sleep. And then I put him down and I make sure he's settled and everything. Right? So having that balance of, I'm getting baby time.
That's true.
But she's also, she's got to be there to feed him. And then she gets to go back to sleep. She isn't the one who said, okay, now I got to rock him. I got to walk with him for 45 minutes kind of thing. So gives her the rest, but also gives me baby time.
For sure.
Her body's working overtime. Like she has to feed and all. I feel so validated because Valencia and I have talked about these things, and that's exactly what we want to do. We've talked about, we're going to breastfeed, at least for, in the beginning, of course, like if she can, she's going to. Right, if she can. Right?
And that's the other thing. Too. Like I would say definitely before baby gets there, in case again she has any trouble with it, get some formula. Just so that you have it. Not even just one small thing of formula, so that if it's 2-3 in the morning, you guys are running on 1 hour of sleep, and for whatever reason the milk's not there, you can still feed your daughter. Right. And there's so many emotions that we can't really understand of like, hey, I've carried and nurtured this baby and now I can't feed it. What does that do for her psychologically, right? So being able to have something just in your back pocket of like, okay, this isn't working. We can still feed her. She's still going to be okay, kind of thing.
We can keep the baby alive.
Because that's the whole goal. Once you bring that baby home, it's okay, it's going to sleep, it's going to eat, and it's going to go to the bathroom, and that's it. And can you keep it alive until it can start to function as a person?
And that's what we've talked about. The plan is to feed, and at night, especially at night when she's tired, and especially postpartum, that's hard, and we want to go natural birth. So the plan is for her to feed, but I'll go get the baby. I'll bring it to Valencia, right? Valencia feeds. She can go to sleep. And then I can go ahead and change Nyla. And it's just so validating to hear like that's worked for you guys because we've talked about this a lot. And you guys do shifts. So you guys do it differently.
I will say the last 2 weeks, 3 weeks, I have not been on my game. Going back into work. I'm just putting that out there, right? But pre going back to work, right? Like the shifts were just so crucial, right? Just being able to say, I got this, right? And what Danielle did was she'd pump, right? So she'd pump. I'd have like 3 bottles in the fridge. I'm chilling. There's no reason to wake her up. And that pumping really like made an impact. So I think, and even just listening to this conversation, we got to get the pump back on, right? Because I can wake up, I've figured out the work is fine, right? I can wake up in the middle of the night. So just being honest, right? And the goal is maybe even it at the score, right? Like our job really should be, when can I swoop in and take a bit of the load off from you, right? So,
and that's what the forum is, accountability, right? Like you can go home and be like, hey, Danielle, I haven't been my best. and you can watch
she'd love to hear that.
She's heard it on the episode now.
She would love to hear that.
No, but
Danielle, I have not been my best the last 2 weeks.
But it takes some self-awareness and too, like you want to be better, right? But life gets busy and you go back to work and you're right.
But and these are real obstacles that pop up, right? But you cannot use it as an excuse for not being a good dad.
Right? The train will always go off the rail, but you can't keep it off the rail too long. You gotta rev it back in and keep the train moving.
Well, in closing, and I know we have maybe one more minor question after, but I'm just curious, I know there's a lot of dads, either expecting fathers watching or existing dads who are maybe looking to learn and just sort of hear from other experiences. What's your, you can never have number one, but like, what's the ethos of fatherhood that you live by? That's really played a huge role in how you wake up every day and show up for your children.
Going into being a dad, something that I always wanted to do was make sure that I was showing up as a parent and I wasn't going to be a babysitter.
Wow.
Right? I don't want to be a dad who's like, oh no, what do I do? Kind of thing, right? Like you shouldn't be another. Don't be another child for your partner. Like she should be able to walk out the door, go have a personal day, and she shouldn't have to pack a bag for you to take care of your kids.
Yes, dude.
Right? Be a parent.
Wow.
Show up for your kids. You're gonna have a better connection with them. It's gonna, at least for me, help out with the guilt because I am trying. I am, working on being a good parent, but it's also going to take a lot of load off of your partner.
Like the last thing I want to hear is Melissa saying, "Oh, Kamuel is watching Nyla today." No, I'm not watching Nyla today. I'm being a parent. I'm with Nyla today. Like I'm not babysitting.
She's
Nyla.
with her dad.
Right, she's with her dad.
Yeah.
This is my job too, right? Like they're both in this. Like I'm not just some. Like you said, that's such a stereotype, not even a stereotype. That's kind of what the parents before us have been.
And that's something that I've heard a lot is like, wow, you're such a great dad. Whereas I feel like I'm doing the bare minimum almost of like, I'm just being a dad.
Oh, for
and
sure.
I'm not doing anything crazy, but this is just what I see fatherhood as. And these are the expectations I have for myself. Like, it's not like, oh, well, can you go change her diaper? No, I can change it. I'm fully capable.
The diaper's halfway changed before that question even could be asked. Right?
So there's nothing in my kid's life that I can't do. At least to a passable degree, right? I can't do hair as well as my wife can, but I can brush her hair. I can put it in a ponytail. Okay, I can do that, right? And I just haven't had the experience with it because I haven't been doing my own hair because it's short. I don't have hair. But like there's nothing in my kid's life that I can't do.
That's so good.
Outside of like breastfeeding.
And that's what challenge to all fathers to be. Make sure you can do everything the mom can except breastfeeding, right? Because we literally don't have breast. And that's like, if you come away with something from this episode, it's us challenging you. And I think that's the beautiful part about this forum is we can keep each other accountable, but we have to challenge each other. Like we can't keep doing the bare minimum we just have to be better for this generation, for society, for the world. We just have to be better. So a challenge to all fathers out there is, if you feel like that's you, like your wife leaves the house and you're panicking, use that as self-reflection and ask yourself, how can I be better? Because this is not how it's supposed to be.
Yeah, for sure.
To wrap it up, fill in the blank for us. The longer I am a father, the less I...
The longer I am a father, the less I make a plan.
That's a good one.
Because that plan's not going to go anywhere.
Right.
Yeah.
Plan in short term, plan in long term.
Oh, short term.
Yeah.
You can make long term plans. That's fine. But the older your kids get, the more they start to be a person, the more they start to express themselves.
Randomization.
Your plans are going out the window. You got to be adaptable. You got to think on your feet, and
That's so good, man.
That's
so
awesome.
Good. Awesome. Well, that's episode 2.
Episode 2.
Thank you so much.
Of course. Thanks for having me.
Thank you, audience, for listening through, Zach's story and just sort of catching up with me and Kemuel's experiences as new fathers, right? And this is a journey, right? I think something that would be awesome is if you have any comments or thoughts from this episode, drop a comment below. Leave a like, leave a subscribe on whatever platform this is.
Yes, please.
But we are looking to grow a community, right? We have some think big ideas on what the forum can really do, not only for new fathers, expecting fathers, but also the next generation of children joining fatherhood, right? These things will be on the internet forever. So what are the messages that we want to leave and leave that lasting footprint? Yeah.
If you're a pro dad out there or a parent, and pro dad as in you got somebody, kids that are 10 plus years old, right? You've been in the game a long time. And you want to share your story, please come on the podcast. So, be like Zach. Thank you for reaching out and saying like, dude, this is my life and I want to share it too.
Yeah.
And that's what the forum is about. So thank you guys. Leave a
And
review.
gals.
And gals. Leave a review. If it's not going to be 5-star, reach out to us first. Please. But otherwise, leave a 5-star review for us if you're enjoying this. And thanks, man.
Yes.
Appreciate it.
Good
Thanks
to
for
see
having
you.
me.
Thanks, Zach.
Thanks for having me.
Yes, sir.
Mom.
Episode 2.
That's a wrap.